Well, anyway, tonight, we have a legendary figure with us from rock and roll tonight, Mr. Chuck Berry. And you people, I should explain, the studio audience got a little preview, right? Because of the rain, Chuck was coming out from St. Louis and the plane was delayed and so forth, and he just got here, so he did a little rehearsal in front of the studio audience. Is it worth sticking around for? Isn't that what he does, the duckball? I'm going to figure out how he does it. Chuck Berry is here. A young comedian by the name of Jan Karam is with us tonight. And an actor who's been in many, many things. You'll know him when he comes out here, Lane Smith. So thanks for coming. We'll be with you in just a minute. Thank you. All right, friends, now that Chuck Berry has done his warm-up for our studio audience, it's time to let him do it for the whole nation. He is considered by many to be the father of rock and roll. He has influenced, I think, probably more rock performers than any other performer in history. And he's recently published his autobiography called Chuck Berry, the Autobiography. Well, I thought maybe it was a cute title. And anyways, there's currently a movie out about Chuck called Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll. Would you welcome the one and only Chuck Berry?
Long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. Help me find the party, trying to get in touch with me. Thank you. Could not leave a number, but I know the place to call. My uncle took the message and he wrote it on the wall. Oh, help me information, more than that I cannot add. Only that I miss her and all the fun we had. But we were pulled apart because her mom did not agree and tore apart our happy home in Memphis, Tennessee. You know the last time I saw Marie, she's waving me goodbye with hurry home drops on her cheek that trickle from her eye. Marie is only 6 years old. Information, please. Try to put me through to her in Memphis, Tennessee.
Chuck Berry. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome. Hey, that's good to hear. We thought we'd lost you today.
Really?
Yeah, and everything.
We
I know you got hung coming in, and you came out and performed here for our studio audience, and
had a few drips today, didn't you?
What?
Had a few drips.
A few drips. We're going to do this right away? Let me do this. We're going to come back and talk, and Chuck's going to perform for you. Stay where you are.
Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-do, ba, ba.
Yeah.
That is rock and roll.
Rock and roll. The 16 guys. You were telling me when the band was playing, when you were a young kid, before you just take it up the guitar and just learning a few chords.
Yeah.
You envisioned
All I wanted
to have a
do.
big backup band.
Comp chords behind a big band. Tommy, give me a job. Give me a job.
Rock and roll, they have tried to put away several times. Some of the critics, they said it was going to be a fad, it was going to die. It's never really gone away, has it?
It's gone away. There it is. That was rock and roll. You hear me? Is that gone away?
Not a bit.
Been there 25 years. Yes. All right, Tommy.
Now, a lot of the staff was sitting around saying, gee, Chuck's band ought to be here pretty soon, or his backup musicians. You don't travel with a band. You just...
I'm thinking about... Yes.
No, you can't. No. I got a lock on these guys. You can't take these guys on the road. But you just travel with yourself. You just bring the acts in and go to work, right?
A lot of the guys know my numbers, and but really, I stopped carrying a band because in the '60s things got a little juicy, and then they got a little smoky in the late '60s.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any parts of it.
Yeah, I understand.
So on.
I got to ask you a question now, and I'll see if you remember. What was the first year that you did the Dick Clark show? Do you remember? Do you have any idea?
It was 18...
And Clark looked just the same in 1890 as he does today.
Really? Yeah.
Do you remember the year?
I think it was 56.
Okay, no. It's absolutely true. You won't remember this. I didn't remember it until today. A few months ago, Dick Clark dropped a picture off at my office. I was sitting at a set of drums.
I remember.
Now, is this starting to make sense?
Yes.
And I was saying to Freddie DeCordova today, I says, that's strange. So I did a little research. And I'm sitting at a set of drums, and Dick Clark sent this picture, both of us talking. And Dick Clark said, who are these two young guys? Clark looked exactly the same today as he did then.
That's right. Okay.
I was on his show, and I played a little drum solo. And he came over and said, Johnny, I understand you're going to introduce somebody in the American Bandstand. And guess
That's
what?
right.
And who did I introduce?
Yours truly.
Chuck Berry.
Yours truly.
And I didn't think of it until today.
Just a little squirt then.
That's true. Yeah, I was a little squirt, he said. I was hardly nationally known, but Dick at that time would get people who had been on national television to introduce new people. And this kept going through my mind, and sure enough, I remember
In fact, I was a little squirt then.
We were both little squirts then. Yeah. The walk you did for the studio audience a moment ago. Now, you're known for the duck walk. Was this a modified... you got a couple of...
Can you just give me 10 bars?
Do you want it easier to do out here or here?
No, he's
That here?
He's great.
Okay.
Just 10 bars. Oh, man.
You know you're through in the business when you do that and you can't get up.
Yeah.
Then you say it's time to hang it in.
Yeah.
Did you have fun doing the book?
Yeah, I really did.
Somebody told me you usually, when you perform, insist on getting paid cash up front. True?
Well, not cash, but things as good as cash, like cashier's checks, Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I had a lot of problems waiting 2.5 hours for them to count monies, and then they make mistakes. So up front, and then a lot of the promoters add taxes from the government. They're not supposed to, so up front is better.
I know a lot of people who go on tour running that same problem. You go in and it takes them a while before they get all the house count, and sometimes the performers have been stiffed. Have you ever been ripped off? No names, no names, please.
More ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, Johnny. In fact, one time, and even John Lennon said he had the same thing happen to him. One time in Mineola, Mississippi, I drove down there with a big bus, had a lot of overhead with the band.
Yeah.
This time was taking band. And we played a New Year's Eve day. And at 12, we played from 9 to 12. From 8 to 12, 4 hours, union thing. At 12 or 1, I made sure I gave him a good 4 hours. I quit. Shotgun. Play until 12:30. The party's still going on. Only in Mississippi, you played till 12:30.
Did you got it? Yeah. And the guy has a shotgun. You play as long as he's got the shotgun in his hands. I noticed, I mentioned in the introduction that a lot of artists who've been on this show, a lot of the people in rock and roll, credit you with really, admire you. They've stolen from you. You were the...
Borrowed.
Borrowed, nicer word. When you were getting started, who did you Who did you?
Here. I tell you, the main guy was Louis Jordan.
Louis Jordan.
Yeah, I wanted to sing like Nat Cole, with lyrics like Louis Jordan, with the swing of Benny Goodman, with Carl Hogan on, with Charlie Christian on guitar.
Right.
Playing Carl Hogan's riffs, who was Louis Jordan.
Right.
And with the soul of Muddy Waters, I had it all mixed up.
That combination?
Yeah,
That's a nice blend.
Yeah.
Were you and Presley friends?
Yeah, when he was living, you know.
Yeah, well, of course.
I don't want no parts
Do you still keep in contact, do you? Well, he's with Houdini, you know. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. When he was living. Okay, we're back talking with Chuck Berry. You've had an interesting full life. You, at one time, studied to be a hairdresser, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Both of my sisters were hairdressers, and I
Yeah.
thought I'd follow through, you know. Anything to have that nice house, nice car, and money in the bank.
Yeah.
All the good things of life.
Did you ever practice hairdressing for any length of time at all?
Yes, I did. I put a few curls in my pocket, too, you know. It wasn't right, but, you know, I wanted to start off with a bang, you know.
Yeah.
And I pulled a few, but they never knew it. You know, I can pull it over and dress.
Yeah. How about the prize-fighting career now? Didn't you try that for a while?
Golden gloves, yeah. Yeah, I had listen to this. On Monday night, there was no fight for me. On Tuesday, this week, if we're going
Right.
Tuesday night, the guy didn't show up. That was great. On Wednesday night...
You got a winning record so far.
Yeah. Wednesday night, this big, fat, young kid came in. I'm not fighting him. So I won by default. Thursday night, they sent a brother in. He was a little taller than me. He'd been fighting 9 years, and I'd been fighting about 3 weeks. Ooh. And we had, in fact, it's in that book. That very bout is in that book. I ran all over the Ran all over the Finally, he hit me, you know, and I was going to stay down my 8 counts, get back up and do what I could. It wasn't but 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And the guy said, 1, 2, 9, 10. Swear to God, today I'll say he did it. You know, 1, 2, 9, 10. I was out.
So that's your career, huh?
That's it.
So that was the end of the fighting career.
Yeah, I'd rather be a lover than a fighter anytime.
Yeah. You in your book mentioned you have been a guest of the government a couple of times.
Yes, I've served with the government, yeah.
I don't mean in the military service. I was talking to people maybe misunderstood.
Make it clear, Johnny.
You talk about being in jail.
Yeah, it seems like every 17 years I make a big mistake.
17 years?
Every 17 years.
That's like the 17-year cicadas, you know. They come out every 17 years.
By the way, I'm in my 12th year, so in about 4 years, I'm going to start watching.
No, I do. Be real careful.
Yeah, really.
Tell me about the movie, Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll.
Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll. We had a music coordinator, Keith Richards. Anybody know Keith Richards?
Yeah, I think so.
He worked my brain off. And for 7 days rehearsal, and at the 8th day we did the concert at the concert that you see in the movie.
Right.
And I was, and we had to go over pretty much all the songs, you know. Right. But here's what happened, Johnny. In the olden days when Chess Records had recorded me, you know, I was 29 years old. Okay.
Right.
Well, I was singing Maybelline, why can't you be true? You know, he raised the volume of the velocity of the record, and Maybelline, I sound like a kid, you know, because I was singing to teenagers. So Keith learned it at that high pitch. He wanted me to sing it at, what was that, 50, 60, at that same pitch. I can't do it.
Without speeding up the record.
So that was a real problem, and it comes out in the movie.
Anyway, I hope it's a big hit for you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for us now?
Do a little, how about, what was it, Tom? Beethoven. Ray, roll over Beethoven.
Okay, George, cut that.
Now watch me do Johnny B. Good. This goes to show you. juice will come in a minute.
Great. And we'll be back in a moment. Great. Okay, we're back. We are going to kind of change horses here in the middle of our show. We have two other guests booked, and everybody's having so much fun with you. I am, and I know the audience is. I'm going to ask that Jan Karam and Layden Smith join us on another show, because to try to get either one of them in now is not fair to either one of them. So can you stick around? Because the audience is yelling for Johnny to be good. Okay, now I want to ask you something else that they told me before you perform. Somebody said you once kicked the Rolling Stones off the stage.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't know it was the Rolling Stones. Two guys came in the Palladium and one started playing piano, one started playing guitar, and it got so good, they started playing so loud, louder than me, you know. And everybody was clapping and everything, you know. So I said, cool down now, this is the soft part of the song, you know. And he didn't cool down. I said, down, you know. Turn your box off, man. You know.
They were riding right over there?
Yeah. So I said to him, off. And my secretary told me, you know who that was who put off stage?
Yeah.
Rolling Stones. Hey, Keith, come on back. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's
I apologize to him.
It looks like you still enjoy performing a great deal.
I really do. I really do. When I'm near that mic and there's people looking at me, it just goes all through me.
Is this the same kind of reaction you get from this audience? Oh, this is a real mixture of an audience here tonight. Young people and middle and everything. Is this the general reaction you get?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you play to any particular age at all anymore. When rock and roll first started, it seemed to play with the kids. But now the kids who started with the rock and roll aren't kids anymore.
Just no age, Johnny. It's condition. Yeah. Look at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Now, I'll tell you what. Since you haven't had a chance, why don't you go over with Tommy? Tell him whatever you need for backing on Johnny B. Good. Just work it out. We'll just watch you do it.
No problem.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the same thing as what I've been saying. Same kind of work we go. That's all. Okay.
That's all there is to it? It makes it so easy.
Yeah, all my rehearsals are 2 minutes, 3 minutes. No problem. With musicians, I didn't even have to go over there. Okay, Johnny be good. Johnny be good?
Well, this has been quite a night, I tell you. I knew that you were going to get this audience going, but I never realized it would be like this. And all the time I've been doing the show, I can only remember a couple of times that entertainers, and for you people at home, the audience was standing after you finished over there, which is very seldom that they do that. So, thanks. It was really fun. And once again, my... Excuse me. Got to get a room. Remember they used to say that? Nightclub comics used to do that. Yeah. Got to get a room tonight. Never throw anything out. My apologies to Jan Karam and Lane Smith, and we've invited them to come back, and they told us what we could do with that offer. So instead, we are going in search of Harry Houdini. Anyway, Chuck, thank you. It was a lot of fun having you here.
Ciao.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow night, Steve Lawrence will be here, Shelley Long, and we're going to make a phone call to my babysitter, Mabel Gaskill. Thanks. Have a nice evening.
stars shine on Late Night with David Letterman as Dave welcomes Tony Bennett and comedian Carol Eater. Then get the first word on money matters and the first news around the world with Bob Jameson on Before Hours and Deborah Norville on NBC News at sunrise tomorrow morning.